You've probably noticed by now that Mark and I have different swimming strokes. I think it's fair to say that mine's more of a pool-based type stroke, and maybe Mark, yours is a bit more of an open water triathlon type style.
All right, I hear you, but believe it or not, I actually used to have quite a nice stroke, having come from a swimming background, but it has changed quite a lot over the years due to triathlon, much to my old swim coach's disapproval.
Well, enough about us. I think it's time we're going to be comparing the different styles of front crawl, as well as working out who's got the best stroke, Mark or I.
Well, it's that over the water recovery phase that seems to be the most notable difference between our two swimming styles and the two different styles of stroke.
Yeah, well, typically a pool swimming stroke, you'll see a bent arm recovery with a very smooth entry. So actually the elbow comes out of the water almost before the hand, and then the hand stays really close to the surface of the water, almost touching it as it comes through, and then it's fingers first as the hand goes in. So basically it's a very sort of tidy, smooth looking stroke.
Whereas an open water stroke maybe isn't quite so pretty. It's a little bit more splash, and that comes about due to maybe having a slightly straighter arm recovery, almost like this windmill action, and then actually the hand entering almost at the same time as the arm. And adding to that, we've got also a slight increase in arm rate, and that just comes about due to sort of the movement in the water in open water, but we'll get into that a little bit more later on. However, underwater, the strokes should more or less be the same.
As we've already mentioned, Mark used to have what we call a typical pool stroke, or so he says, and after years of competing in triathlon, it has changed. But why is that?
Well, there have been a number of factors that have contributed to that. One of which is the fact that we've suddenly got so many more people swimming around us. So if I still had that low arm recovery, then there is a chance of us getting tangled with our arms.
Okay.
And now having that slightly straighter and windmill arm recovery, I can get in a little bit closer to other swimmers and then get a better draft. If I still had that long, nice pool stroke and gliding, if I lost traction because of the moving water in open water, then it is a long time until my next stroke. So having that quicker recovery and arm rate actually means that there's more chance of me getting traction and purchase on the water. And then also there is the fact that there's just movement of the water, there's the choppiness of the water. So having that straighter arm recovery, I'm just making sure my hands don't hit the water.
Okay, well that all makes sense. And I guess also, especially in the UK, cold water plays a part, because if you do get into cold water, you're going to want to swim a bit faster, make your stroke rate a bit quicker just to warm up. And then you add the wetsuit, which we would normally have to use in this country, and that changes your body position to a certain extent, so it's going to change your stroke a little bit. You're slightly less flexible at your elbows anyway with a wetsuit on. And then also, obviously, in a triathlon, you're conscious that you're going to be getting on the bike after. So I guess your leg kick is going to become a bit less and your arm pull is going to become a bigger ratio in your stroke. Admittedly, my pool swimming doesn't transfer to open water triathlon swimming as well as I'd like it to, and I do know that I'm strong on a tumble turn and a push off, so that plays a part in making me better in the pool in comparison. But I think it goes beyond that, and I need to start to look at my stroke and see how I can change to be more efficient when it comes to open water.
Well, I do get asked this quite a lot, and actually I think the starting point we should go with is that you should have a good technique, because I mean the open water technique is somewhat messy, and there's no point going with that technique if you haven't got a good technique to start off with, which you've got a good pool technique, so we're good to go.
Okay.
Starting point again is with more the cadence, so our stroke rate. So what we're focusing on here is trying to get more strokes in per length, but we're not going to shorten the stroke in any way. So we're looking at taking out those dead spots. So when we're gliding at the front of the stroke, for instance, the arm recovery, so having that straighter arm recovery, is something that happens a little more naturally. So as you mentioned already, wearing a wetsuit, slightly more restrictive around the elbows, you'll probably just find this sort of thing would happen a little bit more naturally over time. And with the quicker stroke rate, if one of those strokes is disrupted by moving water or a swimmer alongside you, it's not long until the next stroke comes around.
True. Well, still, I have one other issue, I think, for my stroke, and that's my leg kick. I came from swimming 200 freestyle, so I've got a strong leg kick. Take that out, and I go backwards in the pool. And sadly, I think I know the answer to that. I've just got to do more swimming with a pool boy.
Well, just to add to that as well, when you are swimming with a pool boy, the real big focus there then is on that initial catch phase.
Yeah.
So just to help give that lift in the water and get that propulsion going.
Okay, I think it's actually time to do a bit of a comparison. So Mark, you're gonna go first. I want you to do 25 meters of trying to remember your perfect pull stroke.
It's been a long time, I'm not sure if I can do this.
Okay, followed by your normal triathlon style stroke,
Okay.
and then you're gonna give us a little bit of feedback.
Yeah, this will be interesting. All right, well, now for my perfect technique.
Let's have a look.
Here we go.
Let's see if he's actually real about this, because I've never seen it. Not quite as tidy as I reckon mine is. He's got finger entry first. Very much a pull stroke here. You didn't look.
How did it look then?
It looked obviously much tidier than your triathlon stroke.
Right, still not quite there.
I feel that you used to have a slightly prettier stroke than that, but
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I've definitely got used to that straighter arm, and just even the slight amount I'm even bending my arms, it probably
did it
isn't.
feel really exaggerated?
It felt crazy, and it probably wasn't even that
I mean,
much,
you did
right?
have finger entry first.
Okay, well, I'm getting there then. All right, now for my open water
Go on,
stroke.
into your comfort zone.
All right, watch out, guys, I might splash a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's happy to do this, isn't he? There we go. Look at that stroke rate, straight away. Much quicker. You can see it really well from this angle. Right arm's got a little bit more of a bend, but that left arm just wings its way around, slaps the water. I think I'm gonna get wet now. Back in your comfort
Looks
zone.
good, doesn't it?
You look happy swimming it. You know, it's your stroke. So,
Right.
I mean, I presume that just feels nice.
One thing I will say is with the open water stroke, it might not look pretty, but because my hand's going around so quick, it's going in, I'm just instantly catching, whereas and I do remember from when I used to swim in the pool all the time, nice stroke, I used to glide, lose the catch at the front because my elbow would drop. So I actually feel like I swim better like that, even if it doesn't look pretty. Well, now, your turn, Heather.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start with my comfort zone, I think. I can see if I can look any prettier than you, Mark. That's my challenge.
I think you'll probably do that. Yeah.
Let's have a go.
I think mine looked just like that, didn't it? Yeah, there's not much splash there. Very nice, very elegant. Yeah, very careful placement of the hand, very little splash. Nice. What do you think? Well, you're used to that, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you just look like you're gliding through the water. There's no splash.
Feels relaxing.
Okay, now.
Right, I don't even know if I can do this. So you might.
Just lots of splash.
Okay, lots of splash, straight arms, and faster.
Just make sure the underwater part is still the same.
Okay, let's have a go.
So much better. Look at it. It's beautiful. Though she is veering off right, so we might need to fix that. But... No, I mean, it does. Obviously, there's a lot more splash there. Doesn't look quite as nice, but I'd be interested to hear what she thinks about the catch. That was lovely, Heather. Lovely. What do you think?
What does it look like?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more splash.
Did
but
it
look good? Yeah, look good.
I mean, I felt slightly like I was maybe taking the mick out of you, but I wasn't meaning to. And my problem was my underwater got straighter as a result.
Right.
So I think
just a bit of practice there needed.
Yeah, and I mean, I think my stroke rate naturally it feels like faster, and I think weirdly it's harder to do in a pool. Like I think I'm getting closer to it open water, but yeah, some practice needed.
Yeah, brilliant. Right, well, swimming open water is clearly very different than swimming in the pool. I think we've made that quite clear. And then swimming in a triathlon is even different again.
Yeah, it is, but like we said, you can't force that. So make sure you've got a really solid pull stroke before you start working on it. And I think on something I'm realizing as well, just from this summer, is it'll happen naturally. And the more open water swimming you do, the quicker you'll get there.
Absolutely. And if you'd like to get hold of some of these GTN swim caps, you can head over to our GTN shop. And if you'd like to see more videos from GTN, you can click on the globe and subscribe.
Yeah, and if you want some tips on how to actually practice swimming open water and various skills you might need, and you've only got a swimming pool, we've made a video on that just here.
Yeah, and if you'd like to see our wetsuit versus tri-suit video, you can see that by clicking just down here.